Hey, Ro.
Hey, baby. This is Rel. Welcome to the back of the classroom. Today, we're going to talk about doing what's meaningful over doing what's expedient. So, let's first have a better understanding of what's meaningful so we could be on the same page. Meaningful is to have a serious, important, useful quality or purpose. Now, what would expedient be? We'll define that as well. Convenient and practical, although possibly improper or immoral. Right? So, we want to do what's more meaningful than what's more expedient, right? How would you go about doing that? First, I think we need to have a better understanding of life because what's meaningful is your purpose in life, right? You doing something that's pretty much that affects the quality of your life. So let's have a better understanding. First, let's acknowledge life is hard. It don't matter what anyone's ever told you. Your experiences through grade school, hard. Junior high school, college if you went, working world, just being outside, everything is hard. There is literally an obstacle in everything that you do. Even if you sat around and did nothing, you have obstacles because when you want something, you got to figure out on how to get it. Obstacles. Nothing is handed to you. Nothing is just go outside and pick a dollar off the tree and go get something to eat. Or you can live wherever you want, not pay for rent, not pay for food, not pay for clothing and warmth and shelter and so on and so forth. So there is literally an obstacle or something you have to do in order to get the things that you want, right? So since nothing's handed to you, that means nothing's easy. So you have to do things as far as required by putting in work in order to get things, right? So the term you reap what you sow. Put in work, you get the fruits of your labor. That's one. Life is hard. Two, everything you do matters. Everything. From the smallest thing to the biggest thing. Even if you think what it is you're doing is insignificant, it means something. It might not mean something to you right now. It might mean something to you later. Right? So that's where people say you got to make sacrifices now for the things you want later. So you sacrifice having fun, could be the immediate, in order to have a better, more productive day tomorrow, which means I'm gonna go ahead and get some sleep, get enough sleep, not go out to this party tonight, so I can wake up in the morning, feel refreshed, batteries fully charged. I can go into the day, be focused, be on point, not be too tired, not have any less brain activity. I can actually focus and engage and not be too tired, and I can perform the way I know I can because I'm well rested and I have a full battery as far as my health conditioning and stamina goes. But if I sacrifice that for the party and having fun, I'm gonna show up tomorrow. I'm not gonna be focused because I'm tired. I'm yawning, which doesn't mean you're tired. It means you know you need to focus, and your brain needs more oxygen. So you're breathing in more and you're breathing out more carbon dioxide, so that you can give your brain more oxygen so you can focus. Think about it. Anytime you've ever yawned, it was in the middle of you concentrating. Your body's tired, but your yawning is a process your body does in order to get you more oxygen in the brain so you can focus and concentrate. I.e., when you're reading, you're driving, or you're in school and you're paying attention to something, or you're watching a movie and you're really engaged, is when you find yourself to yawn. And side note, yawning is contagious. Why? Because if one person yawns, that means they're focused on something. The same way if someone's focused on something and your body's like, up, that means you need to focus too. You yawn, you get more oxygen because you're trying to figure out what it is that made them yawn so you can dial into it and figure it out. Yawning doesn't mean you're tired. Yawning means you're actively engaged and focusing and being alert. So that's a little jewel for you. So take responsibility for everything you do, your words and your actions, right? Because life is hard and everything that you do matters. So by taking responsibility for your actions and your words, so your actions and reactions, your words and responses, you got to take responsibility for that. If you can learn, if somebody hits you, you hit them back. You can also learn somebody hits you, you just got to take it. Now somebody be like, well, how can you do the same thing? I'm a boy. If a female hits me, I'm not supposed to hit her back. That's the rule. But if a dude hits me, I have to hold him accountable for what he did and punish him. Now, that's two lessons, but the same ideology. If a female hits me, don't do anything. A male hits me, teach him why he shouldn't. So here go two lessons, but one and the same. I can learn to control my actions with one and unleash whatever I need to unleash on the other. So you're in control of that. You can't go, oh, well, if anyone put their hands on me, I'm letting go. You could, but should you? Just because you should, just because you can, doesn't mean you should. Doesn't mean it's a good idea. And that goes back to the expedient. It's easy to do, but is it improper? Is it immoral? Is there certain things that go with it? I know my strength. I know her strength. How about I just, hey, listen, stop, restrict, or just limit my engagement and interactions with the person? Listen, if you feel like you got to be hands on, and at the end of the day, I don't feel a need to be hands on with anybody. The only reason I need to be hands on and go in is preservation of my life and the life and how would you go safety of the people around me, friends, family, loved ones, so on and so forth. So if I don't need to engage in that, I'm gonna just remove me and my family and my people away from that situation and leave you be where you at until I feel like harm can come to those around me, in which case you got to get whatever's coming. You know, I can't sugarcoat that. So if we can have that understanding, then you are taking responsibility for your actions. Somebody curse you out. You ain't have to curse them back out. Oh, you're in that type of time? That's how you feel the need to engage me in this situation? I'm going to just stop. Why? Because I don't need this level of engagement with you. If we can't have a civilized conversation and have an understanding, because at the end of the day, I don't have to do what you want me to do. I have to do what's right for me, the same way you have to do what's right for you. So at the end of the day, why am I arguing with you? Because you want me to do something you want me to do? I don't have to. I'm not a slave. I'm not your slave. I'm not your puppet. I have a mind of my own. I have my own 2 feet. I have my own brain to think. I can understand things to the best of my ability, and which allows me to think and process that information to act the way I want to. I can choose my words. I can choose the things I want to, so I can choose my responses. If I come to you in a position of teaching and sharing information, it's up to you if you want to accept it, and that's okay. My question to you is, do you understand the message? If you understand it, I delivered the message fine. You understand it. You are free to do whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. The same way I am free to do whatever I want to do, however I see fit to do it. That's my prerogative, just like you have your own prerogative. No one's forced, not by me anyway, to do anything they do not want to do. I am responsible for my actions and reactions, my words and my responses, regardless of what the world throws at me. So it's something that you have to consider yourself. Well, you know what? What have I gone through in life I haven't taken responsibility for? Okay, that happened, but did I have to? And then when you start taking responsibility for the things that you've done and you understand why you're where you're at now, you can start making better decisions. And by making better decisions, you can now take a lot of different things in your life and determine if that's what you want to do and how you want to go about it. So, leads to the next point. Think everything through. If I'm going to do this, how's it going to play out? Now, true enough, you don't understand or you couldn't possibly perceive the future to know what somebody's going to do. But life experience has taught you certain things tend to happen when certain things go a certain way. I.e., if I study for a test and get quizzed on what I learned, I can pass that test. There's no any type of superstitious know-how about the future. That's just me making sure I prepare myself for what's coming. Evaluate the situation, see what tools I need for the job, and go ahead and handle that. School is easy. Take school serious enough, I promise you, you'll realize all the answers is in the book. You look to the teacher for guidance and understanding, but a lot of times people will say, oh, the teacher didn't teach that. No, they gave you books to read and they told you to read it, and they only quizzed you and asked you questions on things that was probably not going to be on the test, but just to make sure you got an understanding and you read through the chapters. But they did give you the assignment to read. So on the flip side of it, they ask you questions that's not on the test in class, but then tested you on what the parts they didn't ask you in class that was also in the chapter. So when I went to college, I thought, hey, you know what? They gave me a syllabus. The syllabus gave me all the coursework. So I realized in the first week I was playing catch up, and I didn't like playing catch up. They was talking about something, and I'm like, yeah, I read that yesterday, and or I'm catching up. I'm asking questions about so on and so forth. That was actively going on, and then I had to go home and review my notes to get a better understanding. And tomorrow when I went into the class, or the next day I had the class, I had questions because I didn't previously read it. I read it the day before, he explained it, and I went back to my notes. Then what I decided to do was, because I had extra time, I read the next chapter and I had an understanding of that. So then I had a better understanding of what was going on. So when he did mention it in class, I was able to ask questions to get caught up better and know what was going to be talked about, and I was prepared. I didn't wait for it to be assigned and then went home and read it, so on and so forth. So I was on the same page with the teacher as far as him explaining things, and I got all my answers answered when we were discussing it in class. So you don't have to be a rocket scientist to say, hey, listen, I know what we're doing tomorrow. Let me read ahead so when we're talking about it in class, we're good. Same thing with math. If you go to your teachers and, hey, listen, what are we doing next week? Get ahead, learn it, figure it out, do your best to, because you're in school. At the end of the day, what do you, after your 8 hours in school, what are you doing after that? You want to hang out and have fun? That's cool. But having fun doesn't get you anywhere in life later. That just means, all right, you could host a great party. If that's what you want to do in life, that's great. But if you want to succeed and understand how the world works, you want to get good grades so you can associate yourself with others who get good grades. Because believe it or not, when you go to school, they start compartmentalizing those students who are a distraction versus those who are about focusing and getting the work done, right? So you have, I believe it's called AP classes. You start putting into those programs and those classes, you are surrounded with other like-minded kids who are taking school serious. Now, you might not want to go to college. You might want to run your own business and do your own thing. But you now have the network of like-minded students who might want to go to college that you can hire and put into a position, or even use them as a resource as you grow. And the more opportunities you give yourself gives you different people to be around that will allow you to be a resource. If you have a mentor, you realize most mentors aren't your age. They're a little bit older than you. Your teacher can be a mentor. Your guidance counselor can be a mentor. All the people around you could be a mentor, and you can use them. So like, listen, not to be inappropriate, but can I get your number and reach out to you whenever I have an issue or something I quite understand? There was a show called Stranger Things. Those four kids had a direct line to their teacher who was teaching a subject that they all came together and had the most interest in. And they was able to contact that teacher and ask questions and get advice, and they excelled in the area that they focused on. So it's not to say you couldn't have that type of relationship with your teachers and make them mentors outside of the 8 hours you're inside that building where you're being a student to a teacher. They can also be a mentor after hours. Same thing with anybody that you know. You can how would you call it, coordinate with your peers, get information, figure things out on your own, get back to them, ask more questions, and figure out more things. Don't be limited because you feel those people around you who are distracted by doing things that are expedient because it's easier. Sometimes you got to go the hard route because the obstacles that we come across in life will not let you overcome them by taking the easy route. And 9 times out of 10, what's easy doesn't pay off later on at the end. So it's okay to be scared to take risks to be great. It's unfamiliar territory. Some people rather say, I'd rather the devil I know than the devil I don't know. That's that expedient mentality. This is easier. This is where I'm most comfortable. I'm going to just stay here. But to take a risk to go out on your own, that's a risk. And when you're out on your own, you learn more. And when you learn more, you're allowed to do more. Where if you stick to where you're at, you're being safe. But are you comfortable? Sure. But are you happy? Probably not. You're probably tired of being at the same job, doing the same 9 to 5, dealing with people you don't like, and you're just gonna stay there because you're comfortable. What do you get from that? You become stagnant. And then while you're stagnant, you're miserable because you don't like what's going on around you, but you're not in position to change anything because you've never stepped outside of your comfort zone. You stuck with the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. It's okay to get new friends. I hear it all the time, no new friends. But listen, let's be honest. If you had no new friends, you wouldn't have met the friends you had now because you're stuck with the family members you grew up with. Instead, you've learned to meet people, introduce yourself, and then filter out those who are of use to you and those who aren't. Those who are going to be more in line with the way that you think and those who aren't. And you have to interact with everybody. I mean, think about it. If you're an employee, you're working for somebody so you can have money. You're actually listening to somebody tell you what to do. If you were a king, you're listening to your subjects give you information so you can provide something for them. Everybody has to listen to somebody in order to give people what they want so everybody can have the things that they need. That's regardless of what side of the spectrum you're on. Even if you were a boss, you have to listen to the people you're catering to in order to give them what they want, which means you give the people who work underneath you the demand of what you need them to do in order to provide the service for the people that you're catering to. Everybody listens to somebody. So even if you don't think you're a boss because you are listening to somebody else, guess what? Everybody has to listen to somebody. Nobody does what they want to do, when they want to do it, the way they want to do it, without there being any type of instructions given to them and then a demand on them in order to give them what they want. If that was the case, money wouldn't be an issue, status wouldn't be an issue because you wouldn't need it. You could just do what you want to do however you want to do it. Everybody has to talk to people. Everybody has to communicate with people. Everybody has peers. Everybody has people that is either somebody they look up to or they look down upon. But you really shouldn't look down on anybody because at the end of the day, everybody are like you. It's just you chose to focus on something they didn't. Everybody chooses where they want to be by what they focus on. If you choose to focus on having fun and going to parties, that's cool. That's just your focus. Where other people might have taken more of a focus toward running a business or improving their education, improving their vocabulary, being able to do things that others won't. And that's where they're at. And then your demand, because it's not as, how would you call, it's not as appealing to others. But this field is required because we need society to run. Guess what that means? You can get paid a little bit more because you're doing something everybody can't do. Look at these power plants and these factories. How many people actually knows how to use these big, large equipment and these machinery? Not many people do. How many people are engineers? How many people can create something and form something in order to make other things easier? Not many people do. But we go through life using the things that other people have created in order to make our lives easier. Those people, small and few. And because it's small and few, the demand for them is higher. So they can ask for a lot more because we know ain't that many of them out there. How many people know how to change a pipe? Plumbing requires a lot, but that's your focus. And when you focus on those things, you create something meaningful for yourself. You didn't go the easy route. You chose to do something you know most people aren't doing. You're improving your meaning and your quality of life because you're choosing to be more active in doing things that's not necessarily easy. You're going against the grain. You're choosing not to go the easy route. Right? So, how do we get this started? Think about all the things you could ever want, all the things you can ever need, right? I want a nice car. I want a nice house. I want a pool. I want to live where it's warm because I like warm climates. Then I gotta ask, how am I gonna get it? I gotta realize no one's gonna give it to me. No one's handing me a house. Like, here's the keys to the house, bro. Enjoy. Hey, by the way, there's a pool in the back and there's a car in the garage. Enjoy. Nobody's giving me that. So I had to come up with a plan. Then I have to pursue those goals, and I have to understand, regardless of the failures, regardless of the pain, regardless of the setbacks, regardless of all the obstacles that will be in front of me, if I really want those things, if that's truly what my heart desires, I got to go through it. And I have to go through it every day, and it's not going to get easier just because I'm focused and that's what I really want. So I have to go against those obstacles. No one's giving it to me. Before there was a supermarket, you had to go hunt for food. If you was hungry, you had to get up and go get something to eat. Or you had to live by the water. But then you also understand wild animals like water too. So now you're fighting for the water source. And a wild animal who's hungry, just as hungry as you might be, can attack you and take your life because they're hungry. So the terminology dog eat dog world, understand it came from something. Now we might have been a little bit more civilized. So now you go to a grocery store and get the food that you want and just go to the register and pay for it. But look at back in the day, I say back in the day, but go back last year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years ago, Black Friday sales, and you're watching how people will go to a store and rip products and merchandise out of a child's hands because it's a limited quantity. Now we're in a civilized world. You can go to a store and you can pick it up. You can go online and you can order it and you can have it shipped to your house. But yet this is how civilized people in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018 is acting. Now, due to this pandemic, wasn't that much going on inside these stores, so you probably didn't happen probably last year. But look at the way people are acting in this civilized world where we're supposed to be more civilized and we're able to go and get things more easier. But yet, it's dog eat dog world. So if it's something you really want, you got to go for it. And when you realize you're going to have to go through obstacles, you got to prepare yourself for that mentally. Nothing's easy. When you was crawling, you seen everybody walking, you wanted to walk. That's what motivated you to get up and start putting one foot in front of the other. You seen everybody else do it. You had to get it through your head. This is how it works. Let me figure this out. Oh, there's a level of balance I need to maintain. There's that walking where my left foot goes forward, but my right shoulder goes forward too. And I keep myself balanced and I keep moving in unison. And then you learn to run. Then you realize crawling gets you somewhere slower, running gets you somewhere faster, but walking, you maintain a pace in between your crawling and running that gets you to where you want to get to comfortably. You didn't stop crawling because you learned to walk. You stopped crawling because you found it easier to walk instead of crawling, and you can get to the things you want to faster. Now you can run, but then you get exhausted and then you can't really enjoy the things you want at the finish line because you ran all the way there. But if you pace yourself, you can get to where you want to get to comfortably and enjoy the rewards. And the scenic route sometimes is the best route. You learn from the things you've gone through and you improve on the things that you've come to enjoy. And with that comes a mental stability as far as having morals and an understanding of the rules. Your morals, what you stand on, how you choose to function. Again, you can learn from your parents, your mentors, the world, how things are. But you have to choose within yourself. Am I going to be the type of person to lie, cheat, and steal to get what I want? Do I want to maintain the things that I have? Some people will do criminal activities in order to get something, but then what happens after that? True, they put their mind to it. They did it. They did the deed. They got what they wanted. But can they enjoy it? 9 times out of 10, most of them don't. They get locked up. Some of them die. All for what? For that one moment. They never thought past it. And there's nothing anyone can do for them because they chose their choices. And like, those were their choices. They chose it. Did they think it through? It's not my responsibility. It's not yours. You just have to pay attention and understand everybody has a choice in life. Everybody has obstacles. No, you weren't given the same opportunities as I was. I wasn't given the same opportunities as you were. But I paid attention to the opportunities that I had. And I can only focus on myself because I didn't grow up where you grew up, how you grew up. I didn't go through the things you went through. I could only focus on what I was going through, and I can only focus on what I had around me. And you could do the same thing. All right, let me stop worrying about everybody else. I just need the opportunity to get what I want. I just need the opportunity to get through certain things. So if an opportunity is present and I see the opportunity is present, I'm going to speak on it. But can I get that same opportunity? Now, you tell me no, I might have a grievance about it, but I know, all right, that door's closed. Cool, no problem. I now know how to engage you because I know what opportunities you're allowing me to have. And if I don't like it, I can always go somewhere else and change my surroundings and my atmosphere in order to get the things that I want the way that I want it. And in doing so, you want to find your zone. You want to be in sync. You want things to move harmoniously around you. And that's when everything happens almost without any effort, right? So that's like when you're playing basketball and you're playing sports and you're moving and everything is happening the way you trained and planned for it, and you're like, oh wow, you're in the zone. You're making those shots, or you play football and you hit the zone and your route the way you're supposed to, and everything is working. Your blockers are blocking you, or let's say you're playing soccer, whatever it is that you're doing. There is a zone, which is a moment in time where everything is happening the way it's supposed to, and everything around you is just in sync with you. If you go to a concert and everyone's singing the same lyrics in sync, there is something harmonious about that, because in that point in time, everything is in unison. You're not focused on the troubles you've had and the issues you've gone through. It's all about that moment. And that's what we look for. And then once we have it, we need to find ways of expanding it. And that only comes with going through it. You can't just sit back and have that expedient lifestyle. So just look at the downside. Having that expedient lifestyle, what does that look like? Oh, I'm going through some issues. I'm going to take some type of drug. I didn't solve my issues. I'm taking a drug to blur my vision and keep me distracted from my issues. But what happens when that drug wears off? I'm back to my issues. When a doctor gives you drugs, he tells you what? Get some sleep, eat food, take this with water, and repeat. They recommend exercise. They recommend you go outside. So when you go outside, you get sunlight. When you exercise, your body is moving. When you get rest, your body is recuperating. When you eat food, hopefully it's nutritious and has some substance and value with minerals and vitamins, your body can begin to heal itself. A lot of pain medication is just a blocker to keep the pain from getting to you, but you're supposed to eat so that the food you eat can help heal you. But those people got a high pain tolerance might not even take the pain medication. They'll just look for something nutritious and have a nutritional value for them to eat so they can begin to heal themselves. They get rest. They go outside, go for a walk, which is exercise, and allow their body to heal themselves. That's a process that requires work. But if all you're doing is keep taking pills so you can avoid the food, the sleep, and the exercise, and you just want that pain blocker, cool, you'll have it, but nothing gets better. So now you're not addicted to the pain medication. You're addicted to avoiding the pain. And now that you're no longer dealing with the pain because you keep taking this drug, life ain't getting better, but it's expedient because you're just going through it. You're going the easy route, easy route, easy route, easy route, and that's not beneficial. And then when you realize you have an issue, you can't keep taking these expedient lifestyle drugs, or even as alcoholism. Yes, it is an issue that people have because they become self-reliant on it. Now you're self-medicating something instead of putting in the work. Yes, we've all had troubling times, but you know how easy it is to pick up a bottle of alcohol? I mean, in the hood, it's everywhere. You can go buy a bottle of alcohol very cheap and drink your sorrows away, but all you're doing is blurring your vision, and you're not focusing on certain things. And because you're distracted from the obvious issues, and when you sober up and you realize, oh, there go them issues again, you start drinking some more. Sometimes it's just easy to just get through it. Let me focus on getting my life together. And it's better, it's not easier, but it's easier for you in the long run, for the quality of life that you want. And unfortunately, not everybody is aware on how to do that at a young age. And sometimes, Unfortunately, people have these issues later on in life that they didn't know they had earlier in life. So this is why with this podcast, I encourage people, share it, like the videos, allow the algorithm to grow so that you can get this message out there to more people, because the best way to change the world is to change ourselves. And when you change yourself, the world changes around you. You might not realize that, but you realize when you start making better friends. You chose to make better friends. You chose to go out and engage with family. You chose to be around people who are more like-minded, and you started realizing things around you were changing. Put that in perspective. You change yourself, you change the world. You can't go out there and start telling people what to do. You got to figure it out for yourself. What it is you need to do. What is it that's going to make your life better? And then surround yourself with like-minded people. Now, not all families, relatives through blood. Family is those who are around you, who care about you, who want things in your best interest, and is willing to help you and make sacrifices for you in order for you to have those things, because it also aligns with them in seeing you happy, because they have a level of happiness. I can't be miserable and tell you how to be happy. I can't not know how to do something and then tell you how to do it and expect you to be successful at it. I have to be happy to share that happiness with you so you can see, oh, that's what you did to be happy, and then you can find your own ways, because it's motivational for you to find your own happiness. I want that for everybody. I want everybody to be good, so you don't have to reach out to need somebody for something. You just want them around because they're just good company. Sometimes things happen, but when you know you have a nice group of people, your village around you, sometimes you don't even have to ask for help. Sometimes people just see it because you keep them around, and they're just, engaged with you, where people just help you because they see that you're in a situation that they can help you with. So live your life being more meaningful. Try to be less expedient with things, and see if the quality of life don't improve. Keep your friends close. Keep your enemies closer, because then you learn what it is that they do. And 9 times out of 10, most people in life have realized your enemies have stayed the same. You know who they are. You know what they're capable of. It's your friends that you may or may not understand them and their ways. And before you know, people gonna stop talking to you because they felt the way, and then you feel betrayed. Well, your enemy's always been there, and they're more reliable than your friends. But when you have family around you, your family stay true. Your family holds you down. Your family supports you. Your family will help you get from where you're at to where you want to be. And if you always keep them around you, they can definitely fend off all the negative things that's coming to you. And it's a rotating shield that'll never stop. So if you made it this far on the podcast, I thank you. I appreciate you. Please like, please share. Check out my online store, Rel Locker. The subscription will be in the bottom. Thank you for making it this far. I love you. Have a good day.